Hello, everyone. This is UFC Chitchat number 2. I got some controversy surrounding you know who, John Jones. I got some hypocrisy surrounding Dana White. And then a little bit of cringe news about something Ian Gary said. And a couple other things, so stick around to hear what everything's about. Starting at the top, we have Dana White, in his own words, basically explaining what John Jones is doing to Tom Aspinall is unfair. And though it's from a separate situation, the scenario is almost completely identical. So
to fight
take a
again.
listen here.
You not giving Johnny a
Not
rematch?
upset about him. Listen,
Halfway through the video, listen to what Dana White says. Look at this little smug look on his face. Here we go.
first of all, that decision that happens, right? You don't just say, hey, I'm going to take a while off. Maybe I'll be back. Maybe I won't. You owe it to the fans. You owe it to that belt. You owe it to this company, and you owe it to Johnny Hendricks
Whoa.
to give him that opportunity to fight again.
I've been doing this for 4
Wow. So you heard it from his own mouth. Of course, I'm being sensational. Everybody knows this is true, but to hear it from Dana White's own mouth is amazing. And if we had some respectable MMA media, then one of those people would actually bring up this topic or bring up this footage or quote him and say it to his face and ask him what he thinks about the different way he's handling or speaking about the John Jones versus Aspinall situation versus Hendricks and GSP. So hopefully someone will have the balls to do that. Next, we have, this is maybe not as interesting, but Sean O'Malley training with Demetrius Johnson ahead of his rematch with Merab. And I thought this was just a tad strange because I believe it was in the MMA Guru interview. He mentioned that he was friends with Merab. And Guru was kind of roasting him about a hypothetical match between him and Merab. So I don't know how. They obviously must not be that close if Demetrius is training with O'Malley. So that was all I was thinking about that. And this, yeah. I mean, when you first look at him, you either think he's scary or you think he's a clown. And I'll admit, when I first saw him fight on the Contender Series, which this is not, this is the Road to UFC. When I saw him on Contender Series, I thought he was a clown, I must say. But I was wrong. Watching that whole performance from his walkout all the way to the end of his fight, he was very impressive. And I personally thought he won that fight. But they gave it to Gilbert's son. Gilbert, the guy who was on The Ultimate Fighter, now his son just made his debut in the UFC. His name is slipping my mind right now, but this dude is cool, and I hope we see him in the UFC. Next, a little bit of roast session for Dricus Duplessis. So Hazmat shows some donut emojis and laughing emoji. Oh, ish would get you, but there's no inbred emoji. That's good. At least he knows who his father is. So apparently DDP doesn't know who his father is. I guess that's what he's referring to. And DDP comes back, but yes, his older brother probably. Ooh. Okay, so a little incest joke. No grok needed. This fighter, you can read that for yourself. I don't think I'm allowed to say that. Takes it from his coach. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that could be possibly true. Maybe not. I mean, because we know about him kissing his coach on the lips. And then DDP goes again with but not, at least not my relatives. Again with the incest. So actually, it's pretty even, back and forth, all considered. But I guess you would consider it's Hazmat and some supporters versus DDP. So DDP was soloing this fight, so perhaps we give him the win. And then next, this just seems like an easy win for Volk, especially based off of Rodriguez's last performances. An unimpressive win versus the dude from LA, Ortega. Wasn't really impressed with his performance, and he lost, but I don't think he should have lost to that caliber of opponent. And Patricio Pitbull, I mean, he's old, so this is a weird fight, but I think it'll be an easy win for Volk. Whenever he fights someone in rematch, he does good in rematches usually. I mean, obviously, except for Islam, but I think he won the first fight, and then he took the second on short notice. Next, no, we already did that. Now here, we got John Jones just going off a little bit, describing the conflict between Nate and some of the fighters on his team. Yeah, so basically, don't play around with Nick. I mean, yeah, with Nick or Nate, and act like you're gonna fight him or slap him or punk him. Like, this is common knowledge. So I don't think anybody was really surprised about this. And I mean, if anything, everyone probably expected something to happen at some point. Then next we had an Indian prospect, lost under a minute, got brutally knocked out. I believe this was in the Road to UFC competition. That's an assumption. Part of me, it's kind of mean, but I mean, who really considers India part of Asia? You know, it kind of seems like its own thing because they look so much different from what you normally think of when you think about Asian people. But yes, I understand that. I guess they're part of that area of the world, so they still fall under the definition of Asian. But anyway, I know a lot of people like to make fun of Indian fighters. And who was the last guy? I think it was something Jubilee. He was made a mockery of after he lost. But honestly, I would love to see a star that has an Indian background. I don't know why, but I wouldn't be mad at that. Could you imagine the riots in India? The chaos? You imagine 100 billion Indians flying over to support their UFC fighter, their champion contender? So next, we had Ian Gary thinks he's hilarious trying to roast JDM. Now, I'll admit, I'm not the biggest fan of Ian Gary, but this particular video, he did have a somewhat hilarious comment.
comic book shop here in England, and I am.
Check it out.
I'm in a comic book shop here in England, and I am shocked. Never in my life have I seen the UFC move an action figure as fast as they have. Jack Della.
All right. So apparently that's Jack.
Anime, I am so proud of you. Look at that, world champ, and you've got your fucking action figure.
All right, now that's kind of hilarious, dude. I mean, when you think about what Jack Della Maddalena looks like, his facial features, this is actually hilarious. And perhaps it's the first hilarious thing I've heard from Ian Gary. So, you should stick to this kind of trash talk. Next, bro, is the most jacked 20-year-old I've ever seen. I just saw this in passing and I thought to myself, I'm not being a hater, but I wouldn't say that's true. That's an extreme over-exaggeration. And even if, and I'm sure there is, a 20-year-old that's way more jacked than him, I'm sure Raul would whoop his butt. So that's just a strange post. I will remember John Jones as. Now, I know I call myself the MMA instigator, but I don't know. Derek Brunson seems to be trying to give me a run for my money. This does seem very leading. I don't know if he's a fan of Jones or not, but that type of fill in the blank leaves the answers really open-ended. Next, we had the man himself, John Jones, Johnny Meat. I don't understand why he calls himself Johnny Meat. I don't understand the joke. I don't know if I want to call it retired. I feel like I'll always have an ability to pop out and show them. I've had many breaks throughout my career. My identity outside of fighting is well intact. Is it? You sure about that? Sure about that? I'm genuinely enjoying life. Now that I don't doubt, especially if you saw that clip of him with that Dagestani dude. I'm growing in different ways. Okay, someone needs to check in on that Dagestani dude. In what ways are you growing, John? What are you talking about? And next we have, if this lands, the whole game's different. I like that. When you really slow down the footage. Damn, that's how close he was. Look at that. Oof. What could have been. Next. Oh, this is crazy. What's this? John Jones walking through the crowd. Hugs the first dude. Swings arm under. His right arm. Down under. Next girl. Arm down under. The third girl and the possible alleged victim. Damn. Chin checks her. For some reason, he decided to bring his arm up and over this time instead of under. He goes to hug the next girl. Everyone's waiting for him to apologize or something.
It's okay.
And then you see at the end, he swings his arm over that other girl. Check. Bitch. And then he puts his arm over her, completely over her head. You know? Suspicious. But you know, John Jones is intelligent enough. He is intelligent enough to pull something off like that and claim that it was an accident. And he probably had that plan long before he started walking through the crowd. That's the kind of genius this guy is inside and outside of the cage. And then next we have John Anik says he was with Justin Gaethje and he was pissed. Anik says Gaethje feels he was passed over in favor of Charles Oliveira at UFC 317.
Mentions Gaethje and Ali are looking for some sort of guarantee he will be next. Well, didn't Charles defeat Gaethje? Yeah, I mean, I know MMA math doesn't always make sense, so at this level, at the top of the sport, especially right now in this division, you got people who beat others who are ranked lower, and those who have lost to lower ranked division are currently higher, so it's strange, but I'm not sure what to think about this, but I feel like they're in similar positions, especially since Gaethje just got KO'd by Holloway, who came up from a lower weight class. And Charles, though he's lost as of late, I mean, he still puts up good fights, competitive fights. So I think this will be a good fight. And next, and he is fighting, I believe it's Ilya, and I definitely have Ilya winning by KO. Yeah, so that's it. This other stuff's from last week. Hope y'all have fun, and look out for my prediction video. I'll be posting it on Monday. I already have my early picks picked. Had to put in some real thought behind all this. And if any of my picks change, I'll make sure to post a quick video explaining the changes in my picks. But anyway, look out for that on Monday. If you like my video, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to know the next time I post, you don't want to just stumble on my video, maybe not, then go ahead and hit the notification button. See y'all later.